And welcome back to Who Would Win, everyone. Today's Who Would Win comes to us from Bryant MT2, who asked the question, who would win in a fight? Lord Tirek from the My Little Pony series versus Godzilla! I like this image I used for Godzilla, too. That's a badass. I don't care what you think. That's a badass image of the big G. But obviously Godzilla. Now, this is actually a very interesting one because while I could go into the whole variations of Godzilla, because I've had people get on my case for that. Not get on my case, but bring it up. Oh, people, Godzilla fans just used, different versions because other versions are going to lose. Like, first off, the argument didn't make any sense. And second, Godzilla's actually, there's so many and I don't even know Godzilla's singular point, how strong that one is, because we now have another version of Godzilla. But there's so many versions of Godzilla that are actually so drastically different from the other. Godzilla Earth is drastically different from all the other versions. Shin Godzilla, drastically different. That you usually have to use different versions of Godzilla in a fight to make it fair. However, that I don't think is actually going to be a problem here. I don't think we're going to have to do that. Now, I'll talk about that when I get to really the finale of who I think wins. We'll sum up Godzilla overall pretty much. Godzilla is, depending on what version you're looking at, either a product of nuclear radiation and mutation, creating this giant reptilian monster that is radioactive, breathing atomic fire, and capable, even in his weakest form, to tank nukes, survive God knows how much explosive firepower from the military, and only being destroyed by an oxygen destroyer. It takes planetary level threats to take even Showa era Godzilla down. And then if you go into higher power versions of Godzilla. I meant to say later versions, but works too. Higher power, later versions of Godzilla. He can take basically like world-ending meteors to the face after blowing them up through his atomic breath. Blew a hole to the center of Earth in Godzilla vs. Kong. He survived a black hole in his face. Survived a cannon that reduces things to absolute zero and freezes every molecule in their body with only mild injuries, is able to literally destroy black holes in Godzilla Earth. So yeah, Godzilla's a powerhouse. He's also, and again, it all depends on how you look at the Godzilla. Shin's atomic blast, though it takes a lot of time to charge that thing, is devastating. He also has reactive evolution that if you're not going to be able to put him down, he may just keep evolving. Godzilla Earth had an energy field that needed to be shorted out in order to actually hurt him. Then you have even the comics Godzilla, which was able to go like toe to toe with like Zeus and go to hell and completely defeated hell. So Godzilla has been around for God knows how long and is called the King of Monsters for a reason. Now, Lord Tarek, or Tirek, depending on how you pronounce his name, is a centaur, brother of, I believe it's Scorpion. Is that the name of it? Name of the guy? Hold on. Where's his aliases, occupation, goal, crimes, type of villain, appearance, personality? Anyway, yeah, I think that's it. He's the brother of some other character. Now, he is, and as a main villain of this, or one of the main, not truly main villains, but as one of the major villains of the series, he is obviously very powerful. Now, there you are. His main ability, this is very interesting. I actually would compare this guy to something like Moro, who is a magical-based being who absorbs power and makes it his own, who feeds on plays. Kind of like a Galactus of the Dragon Ball Z universe, Moro is. I really hope we do see Moro in the anime, because Moro was really cool. I actually really liked Moro. I thought he was pretty badass. But basically what his ability is he drains magic. He's shown to consume the magic of any other creature by literally sucking it into his mouth. He can also drain dozens of beings at once if they are close enough for him and each other. Any pony drained this way is completely stripped of all magic and strength, removing their cutie marks in the process. Tirek then adds stolen magic to his own, increasing his size and power. After devouring enough unicorn magic, he became able to strip Earth and Pegasus ponies of their innate magic as well. At very high levels of power, he can steal magic from alicorns and Draconiquins. My Little Pony rules. If Tirek drains the magic of every single pony in Equestria, he effectively becomes its god, able to single-handedly control all the aspects of the land that the ponies normally regulate collectively. Frenemies reveals that he cannot drain magic from non-living things, however, and that he can return the magic to those he has drained if he so chosen to. He does have demonic magic of his own, even displaying a degree of magical power consistent with the amount of magic he consumes. At low levels, even at his weakest level, he can still fire like small energy projectiles. Usually it's a type of fire he's controlling. He shoots it from his horns. But obviously it becomes extremely powerful when he absorbs more magic. It's all his demonic magic is concentrated and affiliated with his the amount of magic he has or is consumed. He can also create shield constructs. He can construct a force field to protect himself at high levels as a shield, accumulating large blasts of energy from a powered-up Twilight. Telekinesis, levitate objects with his magic. At high levels, he can bind the mighty Discord, who is a reality warper, and once hurl Twilight into a mountain miles away. Portal creation with enough magic, he can create portals to anywhere he wants, such as when he banished Celestia, Luna, and Candace to Tartarus. Heat generation, during enough heat to melt a stained glass window. That's not going to do a damn thing. Bubble imprisonment. Fucking bubbles! He learned it from the dragon from, oh god. What is it? Wow. Dawn Bluth animated game. Wow, I can't even remember that name. Dragon's Maze. Or Dragon's Lair. Sorry, Dragon's Lair. Yeah, he learned it from the dragon from Dragon's Lair. The bubbles are seemingly indestructible as he did it with Twilight's friends. Immense strength. He has displayed enormous degrees of super strength. He's able to lift and throw huge chunks of earth bigger than himself, flying and hitting Twilight straight through a large mountain, smashing the ground to create a fearsome shockwave. Presumably his physical power depends on the amount of earth pony magic he has. Earth manipulation, by slamming his fist into the ground, Tirek can cause pieces of the earth to stick up and attack his enemies. Durability. He seems to be immense. It durably seems to be immense as he managed to ram himself and Twilight through an entire mountain to tank several powerful beams from her, and even the magical equivalent of a nuke. That's actually very impressive. Tirek also never shows any sign of feeling pain, except on rare occasions like when Twilight blasts him in the face. Never seems to be injured at all. He may even be immortal, since the rainbow did not kill him, instead only draining him of his power and sending him back to Tartarus. Flight. He can fly, capable of high flight despite being wingless. Longevity. He's over 1,000 years old, but is not immune to weakening with age. He has high intelligence, psychological manipulation, and magical intuition. However, he also has a couple weaknesses. He has a lack of hindsight as one. Despite his intelligence, he doesn't always think through. He did not think of the fact that he would be trapped forever with Main 6 when he decided to help Cozy Glow with her plans. I'm reading this verbatim, by the way. Draining limits. If an individual's magic is too powerful, Tirek will not be able to absorb it unless they willingly allow him to. So he must wait until he is strong enough or somehow coerce them into giving up their magic somehow. He also is only able to absorb magic from living creatures, not objects. But the big thing here is his age. Due to his old age, he must absorb the magic of others to keep himself strong. Without it, he is basically a weak, shriveled up shadow of his former self. So right at the gate, there are obviously two ways to look at this. Him coming in his old man state, and him coming in as, this state right here where he's at his max power. Now, if we're looking at the old man state, then he's screwed against Godzilla. Absolutely 100% screwed against the Big G. Because that's the big problem for him right from the gate is that Godzilla's not magical. There's nothing magical about God. I mean, yeah, sure, you could perceive it as magic, but as it's always explained in every version of the Godzilla, he's not a magical being. He's a being of radiation. And I don't think radiation is something the ponies have to deal with on a regular basis. What's still the magical equivalent of a nuke? Godzilla tanked an extinction level meteor to the face. So durability-wise, the Big G's got that on him too. But yeah, it's just the fact that because Godzilla's not magical already, no matter what version you're looking at, be it the old man or the near god-like being he is, he comes in at this fight surprisingly at a disadvantage because there's no magic for him to feed off of. So if it's the old man state, oh yeah, Godzilla could have frankly just crushed him. Now, whether or not that legitimately kills him, who knows? And frankly, I have to believe this guy might be able to die if, gets point blank blasted by Godzilla's radioactive, his atomic breath, just boom, just. it's pure radiation is the problem. And that's then depending on what version of Godzilla you're looking at. If you're looking at, say, like Shin's version of Godzilla, which is that concentrated black fire, which then turns into that beam, just like level the entire city in a minute. Well, not even a minute, like a millisecond. Like it was horrifying. And then you got like, Godzilla Earth, who's arguably one of the strongest versions of Godzilla. It literally was able to blow back oh God, how do you even describe Ghidorah in that movie? A Ghidorah who exists in between dimensions, who had no physical form until he was given it. And once he was given it back, Godzilla's like, okay, this has been fun, but you're a pain in my ass, and just blast all three Ghidorah's faces in the face into these black holes and just blowing them back, or just getting rid of them. So yeah, old man Lord Tarek would get curb stomped by Godzilla. However, let's look at the flip side of that coin. Lord Tirek at his peak. Now this is much different of a scenario here, because at his peak he's kind of the god of Equestria. Now he still doesn't have any of the magic green abilities. That's not going to do anything. But now his fire has a lot more power to it. His telekinesis might even be able to move Godzilla, although it doesn't seem it's ever been demonstrated he's moved something that big. He hurled Discord into a mountain and was able to bind... He hurled Twilight into a mountain and was able to bind Discord. Now, Discord, I will give credit to that. Discord, I don't know a lot about My Little Pony, but I do know for a fact that Discord is very powerful. My Little Pony, hold on. Because he's not... I don't know if he's the strongest individual in the My Little Pony world, but he is very strong. Hold on. Powers and abilities for Discord. Because I know that he is basically a reality warper to some degree. And if you can bind a reality warper with your own mind, that's an impressive feat of power right there. Hold on one second. Just want to get Discord's powers up here. So he's got a hybrid physiology. He's nigh omnipotent because the source of his reality manipulation, among other powers, is the power to be near the pinnacle of omnipotence, which makes him the most powerful character seen in the show. That's the thing. He's even stated to be the most powerful character seen in the show, and even he was able to be binded by Tirek. And the thing about it is, Discord's strengths are many, and his weaknesses are extremely few. Attacking him head-on is usually doomed to fail. He can easily throw out an assault with reality warping. However, he is vulnerable to the elements of harmony and successfully turned on to stone twice. He's also been shown vulnerable to other entities of immense power, such as sufficiently empowered Lord Tirek. Vulnerable, but not necessarily weak to. One important weakness of him is his ego. He tends to be extremely arrogant. When he stops actually exhibiting his normal chaotic behavior, he does weaken to some degree. So Discord does have some weaknesses, but the fact that he could bind someone like Discord, and that's an impressive feat. That means he could probably bind up Godzilla, at least temporarily, although Godzilla, again, is really just a massive reptilian mass of sheer energy and power. So I do believe it would struggle to bind something like Godzilla, because just Godzilla's sheer mass and size alone, even at the smallest interpretation of Godzilla, is still far larger than anything we really see in the My Little Pony world. And then you go in the portal creation. At that point, he can go wherever he wants, or he could send Godzilla anywhere he wants. Then, heat generation. Now, at that point, I don't think the fire and the heat, I still don't think is really going to do much to Godzilla. Because again, Showa, who is basically the weakest version of Godzilla, let's be fair. Even Showa-era Godzilla can still take nukes to the face. So I don't think there's any level of heat he can generate that's going to hurt Godzilla. Bubble imprisonment, seemingly indestructible. I think Godzilla would struggle to get out of that. Without like a amp or a boost, Godzilla would struggle to get out of that. Depending on the version. See, this is now where the versions of Godzilla come in. Showa era is just going to be, I don't think, in fact, I'll even go so far as to say, I think Showa and even Heisei era Godzilla would struggle. Heisei would have maybe an easier time because he did deal with Space Godzilla, who did use similar techniques. And once he got the red spiral heat ray, it made it a lot easier to handle that. And then if you're going with Burning Godzilla, well, now you're dealing with a guy who's just in constant meltdown and could literally possibly destroy the world. That's how they said he was a global threat. I think he would basically be able to get out of the bubble, but then, Tarek would just banish him. I think the problem here is that really that portal creation technique is the real big problem here. Honestly, I don't think Tarek has the strength to really take on Godzilla, even at his strongest size. I think Godzilla's pure power is usually just going to eclipse him. But really, it's just that portal creation. The fact that he can pretty much send anyone anywhere he wants means that if he feels he's losing against Godzilla, he can just send Godzilla away. Now, Godzilla may eventually show back up after some time, and he can just do it again. So he can really just keep Godzilla away from him all he wants. Now, if he doesn't decide to do that in a straight fight, is there any version of Godzilla I think could straight out beat his ass? Probably Earth. Yeah, honestly, it might just be Earth. Legendary is actually much stronger than I think a lot of people give credit for. And I do like Legendary. Legendary is definitely one of my more preferred versions of Godzilla. The Millennium series is so varied, but yes, the Millennium series may have the power to just beat him on straight power alone. And again, I haven't watched Godzilla Singular Point, so I can't say for certain how that version would stack up. I do know, I can say from design, he does not look like a very good fighter. That's the thing. The versions of Godzilla that would probably do the best are the versions that could handle himself better in melee. So for instance, Shin is clearly not a melee fighter with those scrawny little T-Rex arms, slow walk, all that. It just would not be a good matchup for Shin to go up against him. Not to say that his atomic breath probably couldn't hurt him. Because again, they're not coming at Tirek with magic. They're coming at him with pure radiation, radioactive energy. So it's not something they normally have to deal with in Equestria. So that could legitimately hurt and possibly even take his life. So it's tough. I mean, how many other versions of Godzilla do I think would win? Assuming we're not doing the portal creation thing, I could say maybe 3 or 4 versions win, which I think is like at least half or the majority. But the problem here is that against a full-powered version of Tirek, he's just got the portal creation and just send Godzilla wherever he wants. And even if Godzilla eventually comes back, he'll just do it again. So ultimately, it's one of those things where I do not see Godzilla winning against the full-powered Tirek, only really because of that portal creation. It's kind of a broken ability for this type of fight. And against an old man version of him, like the Weeks version of him, oh yeah, that version loses 100% of the time. So who wins? So then if you have him at, say, like half power, like half his maximum, who ultimately wins this fight? Well, if you're going half maximum then, I'm going with Godzilla. Because at full power, he's like a god and could make a portal big enough to get rid of Godzilla. At half power, I don't think he could do that. I think that to create a portal like that would take a lot of power and it would drain a lot of his energy. And he knows that, that'd be like the last-ditch effort. And Godzilla, frankly, would probably be overwhelming him far in advance. Godzilla's not something he can easily just mentally manipulate, too. He's a primal force of nature. In pretty much every version, even the versions where he's kind of created by man-made, radiation, he's still a product of the environment. We've just added to the environment. So he's still nature striking back. And I think his mind's just kind of more on a primal level where that kind of stuff wouldn't work. So ultimately, I would go Godzilla wins all the time against the old man version of him. Godzilla probably loses to Tirek as full power of godlyhood. And then at a halfway point, Tirek, I will give it to Godzilla, although I think he could probably handle a few of the weaker versions. The stronger versions, again, Legendary, Heisei, Millennium, really more even Millennium. I'd say Legendary might even be stronger than Heisei, in my opinion, mind you, and Heisei, Earth, definitely, and, the Dark Horse comics, yeah, those versions would definitely beat Tirek, 50%, definitely beat him. And without the portal creation, then I would probably lean more towards Godzilla. So, when it's all said and done, old man Tirek loses, God Tirek wins, 50% power loses. Godzilla, so I'm giving the majority to Godzilla. And I think a lot of this comes from the fact that Godzilla would be an anomaly in the My Little Pony world because it's friendship is magic. It's a very magical world, the My Little Pony world. Godzilla is very much an anomaly in that world. So besides Discord would probably have no problem dealing with Godzilla given all the power he has. But someone like Tirek, who only has so much power, could probably make Godzilla. He could hold off Godzilla, but only to a certain degree. he would really have to just send Godzilla. It's kind of like when Darwin fought the Hulk in the Marvel Comics. Darwin's a character who can literally, his mutation is to adapt to survive. Goes into space, can breathe in space. He survived against the death touch of Hela by basically becoming the god of death. He can survive anything, and develop something that is, that can meet the occasion. When they threw him against the Hulk, his body's best course of evolutionary response was to not be near the Hulk. So I feel like this is a similar circumstance where after fighting Godzilla for a while, Tirek realizes like the best way to beat this thing is to not fight it and just sends Godzilla away. So that's really where that comes from. Anyway, I digress. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Like, comment, share, subscribe. As always, you want us to review something, put in the comments below. Let us know. We'll do a review of it at some point. Hit that bell if you want to be notified. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you agree or disagree? And I will be back with What If in a little while. So thanks for watching. I'll see you later.